Today we are looking at the Debian 13 Trixie KDE Plasma desktop environment. Here you can see it's a KDE Plasma welcome screen. So this is not the stable release, or we don't really know when it's going to release. So we don't have any information or anything like that. So I already made other desktop environment videos of Debian 13. It was working without any issues. So it's kind of like a stable thing, but it's still not yet released. So I'm not going to recommend or say anything about it. And if you want to use the Debian 13 Trixie packages and anything like that, you can go with the latest Spark Linux distro. You can get all the Debian 13 packages and all those things. So here we already have the welcome screen. So the everything will be the KDE Plasma. So I'm just going to close it. So let me open the app menu. So most of the things in the KDE Plasma doesn't work. I tried the display settings and other things, so it didn't work. But the other desktop environments of Debian 13 was working without any issues. And also the main thing I noticed in every desktop environment is the booting process. It will take like almost like a 4 to 5 minutes in the virtual machines. So I don't know how it's going to perform when you install it, but I only tried it in the virtual machines and as like a live boot. And my CPU is i5 1240p, and I'm using 8 GB of RAM. And also for the virtual disk, I'm using 60 GB of virtual disk. So it's going to take like almost around like a 4.5 minutes for the booting process. And the KDE Plasma desktop environment is the worst desktop environment right now in this Debian 13 Trixie. So it's an unstable version. I can't say anything, but in these all the things which I tried, like Cinnamon, XFC, MAD desktop environment, and other desktop environment, in all those things, the KDE Plasma had like a lot of issues. So these are all the pre-installed application you see, and we can't say anything wrong about this distro because it's in still in the development stage, so I can't say anything. But what I'm trying to say here is that I tried like all the development stage ISO files. So the only issue had was the KDE Plasma desktop environment. Everything was other desktop environment was working like a stable build, but this one kind of keep the name like a development ISO file, so it has a lot of issues. So I'm going to open the system monitor to see the resources of a CPU and RAM consumption. So let's see how it's performing. So as you can see, it's consuming 1.6 GB of RAM. CPU is around like 10-15%. And the KDE Plasma, you don't even get the 6.2 or 6 version, you still get the 5.27, but this is how it's performing. Frameworks version you get 5.115.0, Qt version is 5.15.15. So the basic thing about this video is just the testing, and also you can call it like a educational purpose video. It's not like a recommending or anything like that. So I was just trying all this distro. I want to see how it's going to perform. So even if it's a development version or the unstable version, most of the other desktop environments of Debian 13 Trixie was performing like the stable release. But the only the problem with the KDE Plasma is like display settings and some issues. So it has kind of like a booting process also took way more than other desktop environments. So this is like a kind of negative impact from my side on this distro. So this is also like a negative opinion for the KDE Plasma desktop environment of Debian 13 Trixie. So these are all the resources about the applications. Here is all the applications history. So because of the 5.7 desktop environment, I don't see like a major lag or anything like that. So it's still performing better, but it has some issues when compared to other desktop environments. That's the only thing I'm trying to explain. So I hope it's going to fix on the when we see the stable release or like a beta version, whatever the release we get when they announce from the developers. So these are all the process. So I'm going to open the terminal now, or the console. So about the pre-installed applications, you get basically the KDE Plasma desktop environment applications. Other than that, you get some sweeper and like a Thai external. Other than that, some LibreOffice and other things. So you don't get any bloatware or anything. So you get some FC, ITX5 and some other applications. So I'm going to show you the info center, and we can go to the console later after this. So let's wait. So here you see it says like a Debian new Linux 12, but in the booting process you should be seeing the Debian 13. Most of the other desktop environment names will be like in the system information you should be seeing the Debian new Linux 13, but in the KDE Plasma you should be still seeing the Debian new Linux 12. I don't know why it says like that, but all the other desktop environment has the Debian 13. So I think they are working at last. I think they're going to work on the KDE Plasma Debian 13 at last, I guess. So you should be seeing like a operating system Debian new Linux Trexie. So here is the code name, but it's going to still say it like a Debian 12 in the system information or the about system. So they will be working on this KDE Plasma at the end, I guess. Most of the other desktop environment is running properly without any issues. They changed the name, they changed everything like applications, kernel and all those things. But and also the desktop environment is new. But here you should be seeing the KDE Plasma version 6.2.3, and here you can see the KDE Plasma version 5.27.11. So this is the issues I was saying in the beginning. So it has like a lot of issues, and also it says like a 6.11 kernel. Let's see what kernel we are using here. So it doesn't say any kernel version here. So here you should be seeing all those changes. So that's the reason I never recommend any ISO files in the development version. I just try to test these things on my own, and I'm going to say I'm going to show you some basic things. I'm not going to recommend, or I'm not going to provide any link, because I don't want you to ruin your PC, because it's still in a development version. Even if it looks like a stable version, and even if it works like a stable version, I'm not going to recommend right now, because it's not released yet, or any information is not provided by the developers. So I'm not going to say anything here. And here is all the information, like a system settings. Kinda looks different, like a Vulkan smart status. It doesn't look like a KDE Plasma settings. It kinda looks different. So I'm just going to close it. Let me open the console. Let's open the console and let's type in like a commands like a fast fetch, and also the INXI and all those important things to get the distro information. So the NeoFetch is ended, so we need to install the fast fetch. So I'm going to install the fast fetch. Let's even try the INXI. So INXI is not installed or not pre-installed. Anything is not like a fast fetch is not pre-installed, and INXI is also not pre-installed. So we need to install some commands, and I'm going to continue from there. Sudo apt install fast fetch. Just type in like it, and type in y. Hit enter. It's going to take a few seconds or maybe nearly to a minute, because it's a KDE Plasma desktop environment. Booting process took like a 5 minutes. I don't know how much time it's going to consume to install just the fast fetch. So we need to wait for a few more seconds, I guess. And about the desktop features, you get the basically KDE Plasma desktop environment. So you should be seeing everything same here. Edit applications. So there are some few options here available. And also the user experience, it's not a smooth user experience. Yes, I know it's in the virtual machine. I'm running it on the virtual machine, and also it's in the development stage. But I'm comparing to the other desktop environments, just the Debian 13 Trexie other desktop environments. They perform like a stable release, but the worst part is the KDE Plasma desktop environment. So I don't know why it's having a lot of issues when compared to other desktop environments. So the fast fetch is pre-installed. We installed the fast fetch. Now let me type in fast fetch. So you don't need to add anything to install the fast fetch. You just need to type in like a sudo apt install fast fetch. It's going to install in the fast fetch. But when you install it in the 12.8 Debian, it's going to you need to add some other lines on top of it, and you need to install the fast fetch. So if you don't know how to install the fast fetch in the older versions of Debian, you can just type in like how to install fast fetch, and you should be getting like a 3 lines command, and you can install it. But in the Trexie, you don't need to enter anything. You just need to casually install like a sudo apt install fast fetch, and it will be installed. So Debian new Linux Trexie or /sid. running it on the virtual machine, which is a VMware, the kernel version 6.11.10, which is the stable version, and the another stable version right now released is 6.12, and another version which is release candidate right now is 6.13. Yes, 6.13 release candidate is available right now. So if you want to get information, I'm going to show you all this information in this video also. And uptime is almost 15 minutes. Like already said, the booting process will take around like a 5-6 minutes, and other things will be when you use it. And packages 3027 dpkg, shell bash version 5.2.32, display resolution 1280 x 800. I kept everything as a default. And desktop environment KDE Plasma 5.27.11, but it's going to show you in this system information like a 6.2.3, something like that. So it still has a lot of issues, so it's better to stay away from this distribution. But if you are a Linux tester or a distro hopper, you can try it. But if you're a normal user, it's better to stay away from this development ISO files. As soon as the stable release or the beta release, whatever the ISOs are newly released from the Debian developers, I'm going to provide you every information, because I will be posting videos daily. I will be posting shorts, YouTube shorts daily, and also in the community page I will be active every time. And if you have any doubts, do let me know in the comment section. I will be commenting as soon as you post the comment. And let's continue with the video. Window manager is a Kevin. Window manager theme is a plastic. Theme is like a breeze. So these are all the things you can easily read it on the screen. My CPU 12 Gen i5 1240p. It's a VMware. Memory, it's consuming like a 1.60, and the user experience will be completely different when you install it on the real hardware. The RAM right now is around like a 1.6 GB. In the real hardware, when you install it on the main PC or work PC, it's going to be consuming a bit lesser, and also the user experience will be way better on the when you install it on the bare metal. So these are all the common things you need to understand. The virtual machines have sometimes there will be some issues. Not every distros, there will be some distros which has issues with the virtual machines. So you need to understand these common things and you should be good. And other things like a IP address and everything is right in front of you. So let me install the INXI. Just type in sudo apt install INXI. You just need to type in like a INXI and you should be getting all this information. Just type in like a Y and hit enter. You should be installed the INXI. It will take around like a 1 minute or around like lesser than a minute. So it's almost under 100%. So we already installed the INXI. So now I'm going to type in like a INXI -sv8. So this will grab the complete distro information right in front of you. Just type in this command and you should be getting the audio, graphics, system, host, every information like a Bluetooth, everything will be right in front of you. So let's go through one by one. Let's go with the system. So host, it says like a Debian because we didn't install it on the real hardware. So that's the reason you should be seeing the Debian, or else you should be seeing your account name or whatever the username you created. And about the kernel, which I already said, it's a stable version. And for the LTS version, the LTS latest version is a 6.6. And if you don't want to go with the 6.6, you can go with the 6.1. But for the Debian 13 Trexie, right now we are using the 6.11. I'm going to show you all the kernel information also as soon as we open the browser. And what else we have? Compiler GCC version, you get the 14.2.0, which is the latest version. And desktop environment, we already discussed around like a 3 times. Qt version 5.15.15, frameworks 5.115. I guess this is the latest version. Distro, which we already saw it. And about the machines and the memory, I already said I'm using 8 GB of RAM. And available RAM is around like a 7.7. Used is like a 1.64 GB. So these are all the another unnecessary information like a CPU, vulnerabilities, flags. We already know what CPU are we using, like a i5 1240p, which I already mentioned in the beginning also. So just try to ignore the vulnerabilities and flags and everything because it's unnecessary for the video. About the graphics, VMWGFX version, you get the 2.20. And what else we have? The display X11, server Xarch version is 21.1.14. You have the Wayland, so with the Wayland version is 24.1.4, and my present monitor resolution is 1280 into 800, and the available resolutions are right in front of you. But when you try to open the display settings, let me show you. It's not going to show you the display settings. So right here you can see there is no display settings. So there are some settings unavailable right here. So that's another issue about the system settings. So I already tried. So there are some other things, like it says like a 6.2.3 for some reason, but the version we are using right now is like a 5.27. So there are some big issues in the Debian 13 Trixie KDE Plasma desktop environment. And about the EGL version, you get the 1.5, and the OpenGL version you get the 4.5. Compact V is the 4.3. About the Mesa, you should be getting the latest version 24.2.7, and you also get the Vulkan 1.3.296. And now let's go with the audio information. Here is the ELSA information. About the Pipewire, you get the version 1.2.7. And about the networks, which is clearly unnecessary for the video, and also there is like a Bluetooth, partitions, repos. These are all the unnecessary things for the video, but anything is important for you, you can just pause the video and read everything on your own. And about the process, there is like a 272 process, uptime is almost 19 minutes, and GCC version, which I already mentioned in the beginning. Init systemd version, you get the 257. Shell bash version, you get the 5.2.32. INXI version is 3.3.36. Let me type in the final command, which is cat /etc/issue. Just hit enter and you should be seeing the Debian new Linux Trixie. So these are all some of the information about the distro. Now let's close the terminal. And about the installer, you should be still getting the same older installer. You don't get any new installation application or anything like that. So in the boot menu, you should be seeing the same boot menu as the Cinnamon XFCE, which I already mentioned or already posted those videos. If you want to check it out, you can check it out all the other desktop environments. And you can also compare all those desktop environments, and you can decide which desktop environment consumes the higher resources or lower resources. You can judge it. And if you want to get some information about the system requirements, you can just type in like a Debian 12 or Debian 13 system requirements, or else you can just use the system as the Debian system requirements, and you should be good with the requirements. If you have a low-end PC, you can go with the Debian LXQT or LXT XFCE, which consumes lesser resources when compared to the KDE Plasma and the GNOME desktop environment. Most of the people already know that GNOME and KDE Plasma needs like a 4 GB of RAM, dual core processor or like a bit more. And about the hard disk or virtual disk, it's clearly same for every desktop environment, around like a 34 GB I guess. So let's get back to the installer now. And about the Calamares installer, you should be getting the 3.3.9 for Debian 13. So here it still says like a Debian 13, but in the information it's going to say it like a Debian 12. So it's kind of weird. They are still fixing, I guess. So okay, it's in the development stage, so we can't say anything wrong here. So these are all the issues when I was testing, these are all the issues I was seeing. So that's the reason I was trying to highlight these things, because I don't want you to try this ISO files right away. So if you're a Linux tester or a distropper, you can try it, because I already know you should be testing on the virtual machines, so there will be no issues. But I am not going to recommend to a normal user, because if he or she want to try it, if anything happens, it's going to ruin their PC. So I don't want to provide any link or anything. And also usually I'll be showing you the downloading process and how to download the live boots or the live ISO files. But in the development stages or in the beta stages, even I'll recommend the beta stages, but I never recommend the unstable or the development versions. But in most of the cases, beta version sometimes doesn't have a lot of issues, but in the development stages or the unstable ISOs, there will be a lot of bugs and all those things. But in the beta stages, you can also try it in the like a virtual machine, or you can try it like a live boot on your main PC or work PC without installing. And about the installation, here you should be seeing the Calamares installer. There is no changes like available any other desktop environments, because I downloaded the specific KDE Plasma 13 KDE Plasma Trexie. So that's the reason you don't get any options of the other desktop environment. But when you try to install the like a net install or the common ISO file which you usually install without a live boot, you should be having some other desktop environment. And here is the language selection. Click on next. Location, same thing. The keyboard, same thing. About the partition, single boot, dual boot, installation destination, wherever you want to install. So these are all the same things, so I don't see any new changes in this installer. Maybe in the future it's going to be changed, but I don't know. I can't say anything exactly because I don't have any information. I hope it changes, like other things maybe will be good. But these are all these some other things you see. About the wallpapers, I don't think there will be wallpapers added, I guess. So none of the other desktop environment had any wallpapers or anything. It has the same wallpapers. You don't see any new wallpapers, anything other than some KDE Plasma desktop wallpapers. So this is the some changes or some issues I found it on the Debian 13 Trexie KDE Plasma, and I don't think there is anything to show here. So now I'm going to do is, let me show you some application. I saw something here. Let me go through down, and here is like a MOZC setup. I don't know what it is. Let me open it. I think it's kind of like a language thing or something. So I'm going to open MOSC settings, dictionary, advanced, suggest, privacy, miscellaneous, I guess. So it's a common thing. Let me close it. Now let me open the internet browser. I think we should be getting the ESR version of the browser of the Firefox, I guess. Let it open. So I already showed you all the information about the audio, graphics, desktop environment, and some features, some bugs, and all those things. Now let's open the browser and see the kernel information. So it's going to take a few minutes here. Not minutes, it just took like a 20 seconds maximum. Let me open the About Firefox. So you should be getting the ESR version. I already saw every other desktop environment has the same ESR version. So now I'm going to do is like I'm going to open the kernel versions, kernel in official website, and also the About support, and we're going to continue from there. As you can see, we opened the About support and the Linux kernel website. So now I'm going to go through the About support, about semicolon support. You need to type in like that to get some information about the browser and also from the distro. So here is the browser information, build ID, the user agent. So the kernel version is 6.11.10. Now let's go to the Linux kernel website. So this is the official website for the Linux kernel. And the mainline version, you can see the 6.13, the RC1. RC is the release candidate. The full form of the RC is a release candidate. And the stable versions are 6.12.1 and also the 6.11.10, which we are right now using the same version. And if you don't know what is the mainline, stable, and the long term, you just need to go with the releases, and you should be getting all the description of whatever the kernel is called. Like if it mentioned like a mainline, here is the description for the mainline. If it says like a stable, here is the description for the stable. And for the long-term versions, here is the description. And the long-term versions, the latest long-term version is the 6.6. The end of life of every kernel is almost the same date, around like a 5.10. But the 5.4 and the 4.19 are almost at the end. So if you need to go with the LTS version, you need to go with the 6.6. So these are all some kernel information. In order to get the kernel information, you can just type in the uname-r for in the commands, or else you can just type in like a about semicolon support in the browser, and you should be getting the kernel version right here. And about the OS theme, which I already showed you everything in the fast fetch and also in the inxisv8 command. But these are all some other information, which is same information, but I want to show you all this information. These are some browser information which is clearly unnecessary for the video. When you scroll it down, you should be also seeing the Mesa and LLVM version, which I already showed you. Let me scroll it down. And also the window protocol is the X11 desktop environment KDE. And here is the latest graphics, which is Mesa. My present resolution is 1280 into 800. So we got all the information from the distro. So there is literally nothing left. So I'm going to do is, let me show you the logout screen and I'm going to end the video. So I hope there is some changes in the at least logout screen. So till now I didn't see any changes or anything, just other than some bugs. And in order to change the sessions, you can change the sessions with the Wayland or the X11. People who love the Wayland can go with the Wayland. People who love the X11 can go with the X11. And about the layout, you should be seeing the United States. And here is the login screen. So I think I will be ending this video right here. So let me know in the comment section how was the Debian 13 Trexie KDE Plasma desktop environment. If you want to compare other desktop environment, I already made all the other desktop environments. You can check all those things and compare all those things. And I will be posting videos daily. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.